right now. Okay. So graph of trig functions. That's what we'll be looking at. Y'all ready? All right. What are some of the functions? Y equals sine of x. Y equal cosine of x. Then what else? Cosecant of x. Y equal secant of x. Y equal tangent of x. Y equal cotangent of x. Okay? So to graph them, we have to understand the basic things, and that's what we'll be looking at. Okay? Let's look at y equals sine of x. All right? Let's try to understand how sine works. So for that, all right, now for that, what we'll look at, we need to find 5 key points. Do you guys remember what's the period for sine? What is it, Sasha? That is correct. So we're going to use these numbers. To graph trig functions, you need 5 key points. We just found 2 key points. The starting and the ending. All right, now we have to find the 3 points. How do we find the 3 points? What's the halfway between 0 and 2 pi? What is it? Pi. We got 3 points. What do you think the other 2 points are going to be? Try to guess, Hannah. First point, it was the halfway, right? What do you think the other 2 points are going to be, Alexis? Oh, pi and a half. How'd you get pi and a half? Ugh. Can you stop reading ahead and stop being a good student? All right. Rihanna, what about the other one? It's the halfway between these 2 points, pi and 2 pi. And what's the halfway between those two? How do you find the halfway between 2 points? What do you do? Just give me, if I give you 2 points, what's the halfway between 2 points? Generally, what do you guys got to do? Al. What? I mean, you have 2 points. Let me give you this. You have 75 and 82. What's halfway between 75 and 82? Anybody? I can't see your name. Dakota. Oh, this is you guys are stumbling over that. You just add the 2 numbers. Then what do you do, Alexis? By 2. You add the 2 numbers, you divide it by 2. It's that simple. I hope I'm not losing you guys. You got it, Sasha? So what's the 2 numbers I have? 2 pi and what? Pi. And then what do I do? Divided by what? 2, which is what? 3 pi over 2. In this case, what is this? You got that? Was that difficult? Have I lost anyone yet? No. So for sine, the amplitude, we have to deal with amplitude. Amplitude is the min and maximum. Sine and cosine function, it oscillates. Has anyone ever been to the hospital? Next to someone who's dying? Anybody? What's the thing they're attached to? They have the heart rate. Do you know what I'm talking about? You've never seen anybody dying in this class? Yeah. It's like that. ECG, it goes that. If you have Apple Watch, don't you have that now? Your Apple Watch ECG? You don't have. Do you have Apple Watch? Yeah, you didn't check it if you have ECG or not? Oh yeah, there you go. Why'd you say sure? As in you don't know yet. Yeah, so that's exactly what sine function is. It's just literally standing next to a dead person, almost dying person, and looking at the heartbeat if it's going or not. And it will behave kind of like this, something like that. So we need to figure out how it is going to behave. All right. So we know the max is going to be 1 and minimum is going to be -1. For sine, it always starts at... terrible. Boom. You guys got that? Now, remember, sine is periodic function, right? How do I copy it? Copy and paste. Do you see? It repeats for every 2 pi. So and it oscillates between that. And you could keep on going and going at it. All right, good. Have I lost anyone yet? All right. Now, let's look at cosine. Can I erase the sine part? Let's assume those are not the dots. All right. We're dealing with cosine. For cosine, again, you have to use all the 5 key points, like sine, 0 to 2 pi, and so on. Ask question if you have, like if I'm moving too fast or not. All right, good. All right, I had Wendy's burger, and I had chili. Oh, it was so good, with cheese in it. That food was so good. Is it making you hungry, Hannah? What? You don't eat meat? What? Are you like civilized? Yes. Yeah, Vulcans are civilized. They don't eat meat. So you're comparing yourself with Vulcan then. All right. So y equal cosine of x. And cosine is interesting. Cosine is going to start at what? No, cosine is going to start at, let's use this color. Let me use red. It's going to start at the top. Then it's going to go to this point right over here. Do you guys see the pattern yet? Yeah? And if I connect it, not good. This is what it looks like, right? And I could copy it. Again, it oscillates. Do you guys see it? How it's oscillating? Right? Do you guys remember this being the sine function? Do you guys remember that? Here's crazy thing happens. Do you see sine and cosine? What's happening? Right? Ready for the beautiful part? If I move sine to the left, oh my God. Do you guys see it? Sine and cosine essentially is the same function, it's just shifted to the left or right. That's all it's happening. Are we good? Are we good on that part? Have I lost anybody yet? No? Whew. Now, let's move this guy over here, and then let's erase all of that. Isn't that cool, guys? I zoom in and I was able to erase everything. This is like really cool. All right. Now let's look at some hard functions. We have done sine and cosine. How do we do tangent function? Let's use a different color for it. All right. Now tangent is a little bit different. I want you to take out your calculator. Oh, do you guys remember what's the period for pi? I mean, tangent. Damn it, I gave up the answer. Never ask me to tell a joke because I'll give out the punchline first. Alrighty then. What's the period for tangent? Pi. All right. Now, do you think pi is going to behave like sine and cosine is going to start at 0? It's going to do that? Do you think that? Here's the reason why. Take out your calculator and plug it in tangent of pi over 2. What is it? It shouldn't be that hard. Tangent of pi over 2. What is it? It's 0? What? Tangent of pi over 2? Am I making a mistake? Let me see that. You get sine of pi over 2 over cosine of pi over 2. No, I know. This is what you guys are doing. Oh, Jesus. This is what I meant by that. Tangent of pi over 2. That's what I want you guys to do. What'd you get, Alexis? No, you shouldn't get that. What's happening? What's cosine of pi over 2? 0. So it should be undefined. You shouldn't. Oh, your calculator is in degree mode. Make sure your calculator is in radian mode. Sorry about that. All right, there you go. That's the mistake. What is it? Hannah? Make sure your calculator is in radian mode. Just press DRG and that and convert it. Kyle? Yes, you'll get error. It doesn't exist. So for tangent, you have domain error in these areas, okay? So every pi over 2, for pi, you will get domain error, and it's starting at pi over 2 to 3 pi over 2. That's what you will get, okay? Now you got to ask yourself, how the heck tangent behaves? So let's look at it over here. Take out your calculator. Make sure your calculator is in radian mode. What is tangent of negative pi over 4? Is it negative 1? Is that correct? And what about tangent of positive pi over 4? Adrian, what is it? 1. So for the sine and cosine, it oscillates. But for what color? What else do I have left? I'll use that. Oh, terrible. It behaves like that. It kind of looks like cubic function. Okay? So I could copy and paste it. Come on. Do you guys see it? How it repeats itself for tangent? Any question? No? All right. What do you think was going to happen for cotangent function? All right, let's see. Now we're going to look at cotangent function. Cotangent of x. Cotangent of x. What's the period for cotangent of x, guys? What is it? Pi. So, is it going to start in the 0 or left of it 0? For cotangent, it's going to start at the 0. And where is it going to end, guys? Pi, right over here. And at the beginning and the end, that's where it will have its asymptotes, where it's undefined. Because cotangent of 0, cotangent of 0 is or cotangent of pi is, again, Now, how does cotangent behave? Plug this in. Cotangent of pi over 4. What do you guys get? Hannah? You guys are using calculus, Sasha? 1, correct. And guess what? At 3 pi over 4 is going to be -1. And you'll see the pattern right over here. It's a decreasing function. It kind of looks like cubic function where it decreases and it repeats again. So, I already gave you sine, cosine, cotangent, and tangent, right? Now, let me make the problem a little bit more interesting. All right, now are you going to get this type of question on the test? No. You wish. It's like Christmas. So, I'm not going to give you a question like this. I'm going to give you a question something like this. Y equal a sine of omega x or y equal a cosine of omega x. What the heck those things are? What are those? No, let me make it a little bit more interesting. Sorry. Plus b. Plus b. Okay? First thing first. Let's look at it. What is this, guys? Amplitude. It's the min or max, right? What is this, guys? That's the vertical shift. Do you guys remember your Math 126? If you add or subtract to the function, it will, if it's positive, it moves up. If it's negative, it moves down, right? That's exactly what we're doing over here. The hardest part is this omega. What the heck is that? This omega helps you find the period. So for this type of function, what's the period? Period is 2 pi over omega. That's for sine and cosine function. Okay? What do you think it's for tangent then? For tangent and cotangent. What's the period, guys? Oh, wow, you guys know this. What's going on? I really need some coffee. Ugh, that Smash Bros sounds so good. No, what is it? The Dutch Bros, yeah. Why did I call him a Smash Bros? Okay. All right. So now let me look at a problem. Y equal 2 sine of 2x. All right. Let's graph this. First thing first, what's the amplitude in this case? What's the period, guys? What's the period? 2 pi. Oh, let me make this more interesting. 3. Better? So what is it? 2 pi over what? Al? What's the period? Good. We got this? Have I lost anybody yet? We got 2 pi over 3, right? Good so far? So I found my starting points, 0. It goes to 2 pi over 3. Can you guys find the 3 points? What's the halfway between 0 to 2 pi over 3? Not that difficult, guys. What is this point? Not what? That is correct. Why are you guys so afraid of me today? Should I give you a quiz? Maybe I'll give you a quiz today. Come on, pay more attention. All right, pi over 3. How do we find these points, guys? Sasha? Yeah, and what is that point? Correct. And this point is super easy. You just add pi over 6 plus pi over 6 plus pi over 6, which is what? 3 pi over 6, which becomes what? Or known as what? Pi over 2. All right, I got all my points. Let's graph it. Sine starts at what? 0. Because this is positive, it's going to move up. Then 0, move down, and then 0. But connected. Voila, done. Am I good? Have I lost anybody yet? Now, let me make the problem a little bit more interesting. Because, okay, let me ask you this. Am I going to give you this type of question on the test? No. You're going to get my... Then let's make this 1. How the heck do we graph that? This negative makes the graph looks like what? It starts at 0. Instead of going up, it's going to go down. All right. And what is this plus doing to the graph? It's shifting 1 up. What the? Oh no. Done. Was that easy or was that easy, guys? Have I lost anybody yet? Let's try a problem. All right. Alexis is ready for a quiz. Alexa is saying that she wants that super hard quiz. All right. Try to graph this. Is your calculator on regular? Don't worry about the vertical shift. Do that a little bit later. Should I graph it? What's the amplitude? It's min or max, it will be 2, but because it's negative, it's going to act a little bit different, right? What about the period? What's the period, guys? 2 pi over what? What's the omega in this case? 3 pi, right, guys? So this is going to be what? 3 pi, which becomes 2/3. So that's the period. Have I lost anybody yet? No? Alrighty then. And then starts at 0 to 2/3. We can find all the midpoints. It's easy. What is this? 1/3, 1/6, 1/6, which is 1/2, right? 1, 2, 1, 2. Cosine is graph. Cosine will start at the 0, right, guys? Starts at 0? No? Top? It's going to start at the bottom. It's going to go over here. Am I done yet? I have to deal with this minus 2, right? It's going to shift it 2 down. And that's my answer. Now, am I going to give you this type of question on the test? No, you wish. So I'm going to give you a problem where your sine and cosine function will look like this. Sine of omega x minus phi plus b, and y equal a cosine of omega x minus phi plus b. So we've done the vertical, horizontal, all those shift. These phi's are the phase shift or the oh, red is bad color to see. Okay. Now, how does the phase shift work? Let's look at a problem. Y equal -3 cosine of 2x minus pi plus 2. Let's not worry about this part, plus 2, vertical shift. Let's graph that. All right. So what's the amplitude in this case? 3, right? What's the period, Miss Shelby? No. Where's the omega? Yeah. Which is what? Yeah, which is pi, right? Now comes the phase shift. This is the crazy one. How do we do the phase shift? This is what we will look at. Because a phase shift, the way it works is this. Phi over omega. That's your phase shift. Note, this phi is negative. Therefore, inside the function, the phi is negative. So therefore, the phase shift is going to be what? In this case, positive, right? So what's the phase shift will look like? Positive pi over 2. That's my phase shift. This is your new starting point. Remember, we had to find the 5 key points. In this case, you can easily, when you have phase shift, it doesn't start at 0. It starts at something. And now phase shift tells you that it starts at pi over 2. That's the starting point. Now, where's the ending point? Pi over 2 plus the period, which in this case is what? Pi over 2 plus, what's the period in this case? Pi. So it's what? Pi over 2, 2, 3 pi over 2. Whew, that was the hard part. Question? So now let's go back and graph it. Once I find the 2 points, the starting and the end, I can find the other 3 points. Wait, where's? Oh, I didn't do that. Okay. So let's go back and graph this sucker. The starting point in this case is going to be pi over 2, and it's going to be what? 3 pi over 2. I'm just going to use this as a reference because I want to show that This distance technically could be whatever, but it's not equal to pi over 2. Because if I say this is pi over 2, then I have to use that same reference distance for rest of the graph. All right? So it starts at pi over 2, ends at what? 3 pi over 2. What's the amplitude in this case? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Can you guys find the other 3 midpoints? All right, how do you find the midpoint between 3 pi over 2 and pi over 2? What is it? Yes, go ahead. I'm waiting. You have a calculator. Stop acting like it's cold in here. Why do you hate life? For a person who does not eat meat. See, that's how you know she loves the book Twilight. She's emo. What? No, you add them and you divide it by 2. Yes. What is it? 2 pi divided by 2 is what? Don't use calculator. It's easy. What is it? Alexis? What? Is that correct, guys? You guys are so fair. John? Is that so? You just add them, you get what? 4 pi over 2, which is 2 pi. 2 pi over 2 is pi. Good. Find these points now. Go ahead. Start using your calculator. Let's go chop chop. You have a calculator. It could deal with pi. Or you don't even have to plug the pi in. Add them as fractions and divide it by 2. Rihanna? Did you get it? Sasha? What is it? The first one. Yeah. No, you're close. 3 pi over 2 divided by 2 gives you what? You guys are forgetting to divide it by 2. Alexis.
3 pi over 2 divided by 2.
Yeah, use your calculator. If you guys time travel in the past, you guys will die after one day. I'm giving you all the tools. You're not using it. 3 pi over 2 divided by 2. What is it? You guys have the nice calculator, right? I told you about. Yes, Pedro.
I think it's 3 pi over 4.
That is correct. And the other point is going to be 5 pi over 4. Now cosine. In this case, what is this? Cosine is negative, right? It's going to start at the bottom. For vertical horizontal shift, you could just move up or down. That's all I care about. Are we good? Now, am I going to give you this type of question on the test? Hannah? What is it? Yes or no? Decide yes or no. You're correct. I was going to give you this type of question, not anymore, because Hannah said no. So I'm gonna give you even harder than that. You guys were gonna get an easy question like this, but not anymore, thanks to Hannah. All right, ready? I'm gonna give you a question like this. I'm going to give you this type of question on the test. How do you graph this? Jamie? Any idea? This is a hard one to graph. So the way we're going to graph it, ready? Miss Alexis? You guys are sleepy today. What's going on? Is it like cloudy outside? Like, what's happening in Vegas? We're going to graph this one first. I want you to graph the pink one first. Remember, cosecant and sine are reciprocal of each other. So therefore, if I'm graphing cosecant, let me graph sine first, okay? All right, go ahead. You guys could graph this now. Let's go. What's this factor that girl who buy so much? I was thinking, did you buy it today? No. Oh. Did you guys graph the sine part? How many of you need more time? Yeah, these are your starting points. Got it? Dakota? That's why you don't carry it. 2 kilograms of weight. That's your actual workout. Is the US Fitness open? Without reservation you can't go in?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, like the 24-hour fitness bankrupt. Sucks. That's the only gym that's open in town, right? LGC open? Do they have the sauna open in there?
No.
All right, should I do it? Let's graph it. Ready, kids? Okay. What's the period? No, let's do the amplitude first. What's the amplitude? That's easy. What's the period? What? Pi over 2. All right. What's the phase shift now? Pi over 2 divided by 4, right? What does that become? Pi over 8. That's the starting point. Where does it end? Pi over 8 plus what? Oh, let me make the problem a little bit more interesting. No, I'll do it next one. All right, pi over 8 and then pi over 2. What are those points? Pi over 8. Is that correct? Did I get that right? Dakota? Yeah? Yeah. All right. So let's graph this sucker. It's going to start at pi over 8. 5 pi over 8. What are the midpoints, guys? What's the first midpoint? Is it pi over 4? Let's see. 6 pi over 8. 6 pi over 16.
Oh, sorry, no, 3 pi over 8. I looked at the wrong.
Okay, yeah. 3 pi over 8. 3 pi over 8. And then, what's the first midpoint? You just add the number. Use your calculator. Chop, chop. Let's go. Like when you go to restaurants, you ask the server to serve you food. And if the server is taking forever, how do you get their attention? Where's my food? Excuse me. Can you bring my food over here? And they will bring the food. And it will never be dry if you do that. Got it? What is that? 3 pi over 8 plus pi over 8. What is it? 4 pi over 8, which is what? Pi over 4. Then you divide it by 8. What? What am I doing? Oh, yeah. Oh, 4 pi over 8, which is pi. Yeah. What is it? Pi over 2. Oh. What about this one? Is that correct? Let me make sure. 4 pi over 8. So 4 pi over 16, which is 4. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. That makes more sense. Yeah. Well, what about this point over here? That one is pi over 2? That's 8. Yeah, it is pi over 2. Wow. Okay. Good. What are we doing? Sine, right? Starts over here, then over here. Yeah? Now, this is how you graph sine. But how do you graph cosecant? Ready, guys? At these x-intercept, you're going to have the vertical asymptotes. And I'm going to erase that. Do you see this min and max? And that's how you graph cosecant. Was that easy, guys? Hannah, was that easy? She's saying yes, it is. She wants harder problem. Okay, Hannah. Let's do the next one. Y'all ready? All right. Shelby, this one is on you. All right, Shelby, first you have to answer these 3 questions. I'll give you 30 seconds. Let me know whenever you're ready. Oh, okay, all right. Shelby's on roll. What is it? 4. What's the period? No, what's period? What's the omega in this case? Yeah. So what's the period? You're looking at period is what? 2 pi over omega, which is what? Which is what? Pi. What about the phase shift? This is the tricky one. What's the phase shift in this case? 4 pi over 2. Right, guys? What? Hannah, what is it? What is it? Is that correct or wrong? Hannah? Yes or no? You're emo. You're supposed to say no to everything. That's why I'm picking on you. No. It has to be negative. Why is that? Yeah, because of this sign. Do you guys see it? It's positive. Therefore, this has to be what? Negative over here. So my phase shift is what? Negative 2 pi. Where does it end? 2 pi plus what? Pi, which becomes what? Ooh, this graph is interesting. It's going on the other side right now. Right, Hannah? She doesn't know if she wants to say yes or no. She's so confused. I told you guys that, right? About the extra credit for the voting? Did I tell you that? Okay. Don't forget to vote, guys. And remember, you get infinitely many points voting for our Lord and Savior. Who's that, guys? Thank you, Dakota. You're going to get an A now. What? Oh, if you can't vote, then you volunteer. You find a way to do civic duty. And yeah. This is getting recorded. A Fox News next day. Liberal professors are brainwashing our kids into thinking that Trump is our Lord and Savior. Righty then. So it starts at where, guys? Negative 2 pi ends at. Can you guys find all the midpoints now? Can you guys do that? I'm waiting. Kyle? The first midpoint, what is it? Just add the two numbers divided by 2. All right, what about the other 2 points? John? Is that kind of confusing to find the points? Let me show you the calculation of it. If you have a calculator, you could type the whole thing in. 4 pi. Yeah. Well, no, it's just fraction addition. You're not doing trig. Just adding the fraction. 4 over 2 for negative 7. Negative 7 pi over 2. Is that correct? Is it negative 7 pi over 4? Yeah? Hannah? You sure? All right. What about the last one? What's the last one, John? Yes, that is correct. Are y'all ready? So cosine starts at the what? Top or bottom in this case? No, it is top, yeah. It's going to start at the top. Right, guys? That's a terrible looking cosine. Okay. But how do you graph secant in this case? Do you guys see it? Erase it. That's how you graph secant. Isn't that so easy? Now, you guys got that? Yeah? All right. So now try this problem.